Hey, Regina. Fire in the building. All right, we're going to call this meeting to order. Item number 2, nominate chair and co-chair positions for the Board of Adjustment. Leave it the same, or y'all want to change?
Yeah, just so you're aware, there you also have the nomination for chair and co-chair for the P and Z meeting, which you'll have after this. I know during the last meeting, you guys wanted to keep it the same. If you choose to do that, that's fine or whatever, but you guys will just need to vote on whatever it is you guys do.
You want to keep the same? Everybody else in favor, keep everything the same?
I make a motion to keep it the same.
Second?
Second.
If you can just call out who you nominate for chair and vice chair, or co-chair. So if Mr. Davis is gonna be chair and Mr. Aldridge is gonna be vice chair, just call them out.
All right. Michael Davis for chair. Hear a motion?
I approve.
Everybody say aye.
Yeah, we just need a second and then everybody can vote.
James Aldridge, vice chair.
Yeah, who made the motion? Okay, who seconded it?
I'll second. I'll second for Michael.
Who's nominating Michael?
All right. Okay, all right, for co-chair,
Jason Lee nominated Michael Davis for chair. James Arlen seconded.
all in favor say aye. Okay, co-chair, nominate James Albert. Here a second.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We fine? Okay, we're gonna hold a public hearing to discuss and consider a request by Brandon Milam with H&M Properties for the approval of a variance from the zoning code section 155.47 B 22 off-street parking and loading regulations to reduce the amount of off-street parking space required on a property known as Mount Pleasant City Blocks 123, Lot 1A, 1.9192 acre, also known as 1304 West Ferguson Road, BOA-223-2V. Oh, I'm sorry. Number 3. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes for January 10th, 2023?
Make a motion, we approve the minute.
I second. Everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Now we'll go to number 4. Hold a public hearing to discuss and consider a request for Brandon Milam with H&M Properties for the approval of a variance from the zoning code section 155.47 B 22 off-street parking and loading regulations to reduce the amount of off-street parking spaces required on property known as Mount Pleasant City Block 123, Lot 1A, 1.9192 acre, also known as 1304 West Ferguson Road, BOA 20232-B.
All right, so this individual case, this is for a mini storage. You can see it on the screen there. It's also in your packet. Essentially what they're doing is they're gonna be building, this is at 1304 West Ferguson, the old Chapman building, if some of y'all are familiar with that. But essentially they're gonna be building these 3 small mini storage units in the back. The way our ordinance is worded is that it says you have to have 1 parking place for every 1,000 square feet of storage space, which is more driven towards like a Amazon distribution center or some kind of warehouse where you have staff and employees, that kind of stuff. Mini storage, as you know, you have 1 or 2 people there probably every couple hours or however the case might be. So based on this, because they're doing 12,000 square feet, they'd have to put in 12 spots, which probably is not needed. And so what we did is we contacted a few cities that are around us, and most of the other cities, they typically have like a minimum of say 3 spots and then 1 spot for every so many units after that. Some of them do it based on the square footage of the office space, or if there's a living unit there, the square footage of that. So they all do it in different methods in order to reduce the required parking for warehousing. And so what we've done is asked the applicant, which is Brandon, he's actually on the phone with us here, you know, how many they thought they needed, and they said 5. And so we think 5 spaces is adequate enough to accommodate the 12,000 square feet of storage spaces.
We didn't have anybody oppose this, in the surrounding area?
No, we sent out notices to everybody within 200 feet of the property, and we didn't get any calls or any replies back at all. Nobody even sent any information back or requested additional information.
Okay, so do we need to open a public hearing or for anybody to say anything?
You there, Brendan?
I mean, that's fine. I mean, I guess we just open it. If anybody has any negative thing to say, I just want to give them a chance. If there's nobody here. Does anybody got any questions for Brandon?
Say anything, Brendan? Go ahead.
No, I mean, I'm good. As long as everything's fine, I'm good.
I'm gonna close this public hearing. Okay, all right. Okay, we'll close the public hearing. Do I hear a motion to approve the reduced parking?
I'll make a motion to approve the reduced parking.
I hear a second.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all right, we'll move to number 5. Hold a public hearing to discuss and consider a request for Matthew Placius, is that how you spell that? Placentia, for the approval of a variance from the zoning code, section 155.47 B22, off-street parking and loading regulations to reduce the number of off-street parking space required on property known as Patrick Street Storage Addition, Block A, Lot 2, 2A, 5.023 acre, also known as 210 Patrick Street, VOA-2023-3-B.
Once again, this is the exact same situation as the 1304. You can see on the map there, they have an existing storage facility. They want to add 3 buildings, which is about 40,000 square feet. It would require them to put in 40 parking spaces, which is a little bit excessive. And so they have requested to reduce it down to 11, and the city has no objection to that.
Okay, all right. We'll open up a public hearing, I guess, for the public to speak. Y'all have any questions?
Yeah, if you guys have any questions in regards to similar situation, just let me know. I'm here to answer them. My name is Matthew Placencia. I'm here, Placencia. On behalf of KOSF1, Mount Pleasant LLC, which otherwise known as KO Storage, storage operator. The previous owner. Yeah, that is above my pay grade, but if that's the previous owner, then that would be yes.
All right, anybody got any questions for Matthew?
It's been my experience that everybody that uses these drives up to the unit. I don't see anybody going from a parking area with a basket and or a buggy to get something or to leave something. As long as there's adequate access, parking spaces I don't see that is a big concern unless there is an operational person on site. You know, if there are living quarters, as you had mentioned, and or someone there 24/7 or maybe during the day. I'm not sure that it really makes a lot of sense, especially in this case where it's what, 40-something parking spaces? Yeah, I don't see that. And again, it seems to me like everybody uses them, drives up to the unit and either leaves something or gets something out and they're on their way. So I don't see any problem with this at all.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. In our experience too, people drive up, they're usually unloading and loading into their units. With this facility, we are doing a climate controlled, which is why we want to have some parking, where people are accessing the interior of a building, but the majority of the facility shown there exists as drive-up storage and will continue to operate as drive-up storage, so.
Okay, now I would hope that the city has some provision for distance between units. You gotta have some access, obviously, and preferably by a vehicle, car, pickup, maybe not a big truck, but as long as you've got access, I don't see the parking space problem.
No, I know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the only thing you had was like you got out here at the old Dollar General where they got that, they made that Tiger storage, you know, where you have to go inside. That I could see you'd have a park, right, but other than, and like he said, now, you are building some with climate storage that you have to go inside.
That is correct, yes.
So how many feet is that?
Right now, we're proposing about 20,000 square feet of that. Looking at the print, that's what the larger building on the top right is there. So in designing this with the civil engineer, they go through and they make sure that our turn radiuses are adequate for emergency access, large trucks, etc. And then they also propose that we have parking along that larger indoor access unit so that tenants can park, go inside, do their business, and go about their day.
Okay, all right. Anybody got any more questions for Matthew? All right, no, anybody else want to speak? All right, we're gonna close the public hearing. Do I hear a motion to grant the 11 parking spaces?
I'll make a motion to grant the 11 parking spaces.
Here a second.
I'll second motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. John, you have anything? Okay, all right, make the motion to make an adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye. Okay, we're gonna start the planning and zoning session here. We're gonna call this meeting to order. Number 2, we're gonna election of the chairman and the vice chairman.
And once again, you're just going through the same motions for the record.
I elect Michael Davis for the chairman.
All-
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and the vice chairman? I make a motion to make James Aldridge vice chairman.
And nominate James Hartley as vice chairman.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay. One second. You're elected. You get a raise. Yeah. All right, we're gonna consider the approval of the minutes for the December 13th, 2022 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting and take any action as necessary. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes for December 13th, 2022? Here.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes from, December 13th.
Here a second.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Number 4 here. FP 2023-01, discuss and consider a request from Steve Capps of Capps Properties LTD for the approval of a final plat of the Deer Park Estates Phase 1 Edition, being a 13.493 acre portion, Phase 1 of a 32.5 acre tract of land located in the Thomas McPeter Survey, abstract number 374, Titus County, Texas, in the John H. Orr Survey, abstract number 423, Titus County, Texas, and in the city of Mount Pleasant, and being part called of the 32.5 acre tract, tract 1 conveyed to Capps Properties Ltd. in a deed known as instrument number 2021-2383 of the public records of Titus County, Texas, and generally located east of US 271 and adjacent to the County Road 1400, and take any action necessary.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and members of the commission. And you're probably familiar with this property, as you've indicated. It is just east of 271, as you see here, and it just abuts along CR 1400. And this property was annexed last year in July, as you may recall. It was a 519 acre portion, and so a tract of land. And this portion is 32 acres for the Capps property, which you see outlined here. Phase 1 is 13.4 acres, 13.5 acres, and so essentially what they're doing is coming in for final plat approval for Phase 1, and with that, the plat meets all of the technical requirements of the subdivision ordinance, and staff would recommend approval of the final plat. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
So there's probably, what, 11, 12 lots there? 1 acres lot?
Yes, that's correct. There's 11 lots that's going to represent Phase 1. Phase 2, you'll see that come in another time, but yeah, 11 lots that are all at least a minimum of 1 acre, because they will have OSSF, the on-site sanitary sewer facilities, which is a minimum requirement for the 1 acre.
And so is this the final plat here? Or do we have a okay, so that's the final plat? So, I'm just wondering, do they have any, like, covenants or anything like that? I guess that doesn't really matter in this instance.
Yeah, even if it had, that would be something that would be enforced by if there's deed restrictions by the developer, right?
Okay. Do I hear a motion to accept the plat for Deer Park Phase 1?
I'll make a motion to accept the plat, Phase 1, Deer Park Estates.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Moving to number 5. Discuss and consider a request from Robert J. Smerritt for the approval of a final plat for a 35.19 acre tract or parcel of land situated in the Joseph J. Dew Survey, abstract number 156, Titus County, Texas, and being all that certain called 16.60 acre tract 1, and all called 18.59 acre tract of land, tract 2, conveyed from PVH and JVW Investment LLC to Robert Jace Merritt and Marissa Daniel Merritt by a general warranty deed as recorded in file number 2022-4134, public records, Titus County, Texas, and generally located at the southwest corner of the intersection of County Road 1400 and Farm Road 2152, City of Mount Pleasant, Texas, and take any action necessary.
Yes, sir. Once again, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And this is almost in the same location from the previous plat we were just looking at. It's up along CR 1400 here, but it actually is in the county. It's in our ETJ extraterritorial jurisdiction, and it lines up there with 2152. It's about 35 acres, and with this being an ETJ plat, they have 6 buildable lots. They do not have city services, so they'll be served by TriSud, which has an existing water line there, and of course, they'll have on-site sanitary sewer facilities for their particular lots. The only conditions that we have, since this is in the ETJ, it does require the approval from the Commissioner's Court, which I believe happened either yesterday or today. And of course, we need to have a signature from the county judge, as well as county clerk and their environmental officer to sign up on the plat. With those as conditions of approval, the plat does meet the requirements of our subdivision ordinance for plats that are within the extraterritorial jurisdiction of the city. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Anybody got any questions? Okay, do I hear a motion for accept the final plat?
I'll make a motion to accept the final plat.
Hear a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, and we'll number 6, the planning director's report.
All right, yeah, once again, the only thing I have is just that the council did forward in that we had the 2 terms that were expiring for Mr. Arledge and, of course, Mr. Davis. Thank you for your service. Council did go ahead and appoint y'all, as y'all know, on that to be able to serve out to January 31st, 2025. The rest of you gentlemen will come in next year to see if you want to continue to serve, which we hope you do. And that'll be in 2024, January 2024. Other than that, happy Thanksgiving. Happy
You're
Valentine's
roasted,
Day.
yeah.
I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
So with that, thank you so much, and y'all have a great evening.
All right, I make a motion to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. We'll adjourn.
Okay, just one question, totally, on the side. The ETJ, tell me a little about that, and is it, this may be the wrong word, is it enforced, or is it brought before this board? You said the county judge. Well, how does the city pursue that, and do they enforce that?
So that's a good question, yeah. And so the ETJ, as you may know, extends out from our city limits 1 mile. And so we have just certain controls within there. We're limited on what we can control, but as far as plats are concerned, that the control as far as plats is they still need to go through not only the city, because we are the ones who are we hold the plats, but because that is technically still as well in the county still has to go through approval for that plat, since it is less than 10 acres in size. And so that's the purpose of it coming before you. If it was more than 10 acres, that plat for each lot, then it wouldn't come before before this body. They can just plat it in the county themselves.
Okay, are codes enforced in this ETJ? Because the city's gonna, in all likelihood, will annex this property, whatever property it is. It's within, a half a mile or whatever you said of the city. So do you enforce, or does the city enforce building codes or restrictions, or do they fall under the very thing we're talking about tonight? which to me is kinda crazy, parking spaces. But do they fall in the category that they also have to, submit to these code enforcement or code requirements is what I should say?
So, yeah, as far as like what you're referring to there, no, that's the county's jurisdiction for what you're referring to. The city doesn't enforce anything, and with regard to annexation, the only time anything can be annexed into the city is through a voluntary annexation, and in this case, with those conversations with Mr. Merritt, he elected not to, be annexed into the city, at this time, so, but that's the only way that we would have anything come into the city is through a voluntary annexation.
So like Deer Park, do they voluntary theirself into the city limits, or they just still under that ETJ?
Deer Park is in the city limits, and so that 100. So if you take a look here, the zoning, as you can see, this green area, all this is inside the city limits. This is where the CAPS property is located, and that portion here where we looked at tonight was was Deer Park here. So all this is inside city limits, and all that does have regulatory control as far as the city limits is concerned. That's correct. Yes, that's in the ETJ. If they plat, that's the thing. So if they plat, now if you have a property out here and they don't plat, then but until the time they build, then that would probably require a plat at that time. But if they subdivide, you have to subdivide the property in order to have a plat. If you don't subdivide the property, then that's in county's jurisdiction. But anything that's over 10 acres that subdivides is county jurisdiction, and we wouldn't have any thing. Right, they can plat through the county. Correct. That was, as you may recall, that was an existing subdivision that was in the county from years ago, and they have current streets now. The city engineer has taken a look at that and accept those streets, yes. And that's why we're going through the platting process, and so, yeah, those will be dedicated. All right, well, thank y'all very much. Y'all have a great evening.